in that chapter also, we are going to discuss about principles of representative democracy and also major characteristics of representative democracy and what are the merits and what are the demerits are there in representative democracy. Today we are going to handle with that issues. So we have to know about the original meaning of democracy. According to many political scientists, they have uh, famously known as Abraham Lincoln quoted one famous definition about this. And also, what is the meaning of democracy means? Democracy, the word derived from the Greek words. Both words means one word is demos and other one is kratia. Demos means people and kratia means the rule. Means original means rule by the people. So according to Abraham Lincoln also said this, democracy means for the people, by the people, and of the people. So here in our syllabus, we have the concept of direct democracy. Direct democracy can be defined as a form or system of democracy giving citizens an extraordinary power to the people. Means direct democracy is a system of people, means self-government based on direct participation of citizens in the affairs. So without any mediators like representatives such as parliamentarians or legislatures, like in our India, we are having indirect democratic system. We are maintaining indirect democracy. Some of the countries like Switzerland and in some states of Switzerland also maintaining this direct democracy method in their governmental system. In their system, there are some key features are there in their direct democratic system, which are people can participate in their making governmental decisions themselves and also without any representatives or intervening institutions. So there is no other persons. The people are directly participating in their administration and also they are making any form of government by the people only. Not like India, we are having for the people, some elected persons are maintaining this type of administration like people's representatives like MLAs or MPs. They are forming majority government and also they are framing some policies for the sake of people. But here in direct democracy, the citizens are the major key role of the administration as well as uh, policy making system. So here people can express their general will, which is done through various mechanisms or devices. So here people's wish is the ultimate authority of their government. Here the peoples are demanding, like India peoples are demanding something and representatives are doing something. So like that, many direct democratic nations are maintaining this people's wish as well as they also using the government system by the people itself. So uh, here in direct democracy, governance is done through open deliberations, discussions, and collective decisions which arrived at by a majority vote taken. So the majority of people will decide the entire governance system according to their wish, and also they may express their ideas and they may express their views about the what are the policies are going to be handled by the elected government. So here the direct democracy system has been we have been observed from ancient times like Athens, Greece, Roman, and also many ancient state systems also followed the direct democracy systems. Like in 5th century, it seems in ancient times means Athens is the best example for the maintenance of this direct democracy system. So at that time, we have discussed about Plato, Aristotle, and also uh, many political thinkers also expressed their views about this direct democracy. Means here the citizens also had some kinds of rights and other things about their freedom and the rights of the people. So for this Athens, like many Greece nations, are called as their nations as city states. In that city states, majority of the people are not considered as citizens, only who are in the form of administration, like rulers or property owners, like rich people are only uh, considered as citizens. And women and also many citizens, like poor people or women, are not considered as citizens in their society. So here, ancient Athenian democracy is quite remarkable. It was not perfect because here citizenship is granted for only few male people, as we discussed, who are participated in their administration. And also here we have to discuss about the slavery system also existed at the time of Athens and Greece in 5th and 6th century. Aristotle also mentioned about the slavery system. They also concluded that the slavery system is the major issue with the better administration for the people. So here, women, children, slaves, and foreigners or immigrants had no political rights. Even their civic rights were strictly limited. As we discussed, these people are considered as slaves. So they are not having any kinds of political rights or social, economic, any sort of civil rights are not having with the state. And also many countries like Switzerland and in England, and also some states in French, means France, also having this type of uh, direct democracy system. If we discuss about the direct to democratic devices, there are, as part of the syllabus, we are having majorly four different types of devices are there for the direct democracy, which are number one is initiative, and number two is referendum, and number three is plebiscite, and the last one is recall system. So these all the devices are important for the improvement of this type of democratic system or direct democratic process in their nations, like Switzerland, or many countries like France, and many states in the Switzerland also implementing this type of direct democratic devices. So as part of this initiative is the important thing for the this directive democracy system. So here initiative implying that the people or a certain portion of the citizens can take initiative to get certain law of its choice passed. They can send the proposal to the legislature, which may enact it on usual lines. So it is the important thing for their directive democracy procedure. Means here the people's direct involvement is there in the lawmaking process and also law implementation process too. It means which is citizens are the central of the government. Initiatives may be, there are different types of initiatives also there, like formulated and unformulated. Here formulated initiative means a law desired by the people can be submitted either in brief or in full text before the legislature. Thereafter, the proposal is put to voting by citizens. However, the result of an initiative makes maybe uh, uh, initiatives also made when the legislature makes wrong commissions or omissions in lawmaking. So here Switzerland is the best example for introduce this type of initiative system in their country. at the time of they're making their constitution in 1848. And also this is the important device for the direct democracy system. Later many nations are adopted this system, and also in the form of direct democracy system, initiative is the important thing for the important device for the direct democracy system. So in indirect democracy, this method means if anybody wants to do something or to make any form of law, at least minimum 50,000 electors submit a bill to the legislative assembly asking the government to enact a law of the choice of the voters. So here the assembly then decides whether or not to follow up on the proposal. In case such a law is decided by the people, is not enacted by the legislature, the proposal will be further submitted to the voters. If this proposal gets majority support of the voters of the nation, the legislature is then bound to enact that law. But in indirect democracy, like in our country, this is the system is not available for many indirect or representative democracy nations. So here actual meaning of this direct democracy or pure democracy is a form of democracy in which the electorate decides on policy initiatives without legislative representative as proxies. So this is different from the majority of currently in many democracies which are like representative democracies like India. So we are adopted indirect democracy system, which means citizens choose others to represent them, making important decisions in their behalf. So as part of this, we are electing our people's representatives in the form of local governments, state governments, and also we are having central government. So we have referendum system also there in direct democratic devices. The term referendum means refer to the people, means referendum is the one of the important aspect for this direct democracy system. Referendum meaning referring some important issue or policy or decision to the people, such as amendment of the constitution. Rendering opinion by the people can be compulsory or voluntary. So referendum was developed in Switzerland in the mid 19th century to provide a democratic replacement for the traditional institution of landscape mind. So the referendum is a device by which laws enacted by the legislature are referred to the electorate before a law. So here referendum is there. The direct democracy will be maintained successfully by the people-centric administration. So in some cases, procedures also can exist which allow citizens or minority in a legislature to demand a referendum on issue. So if we discuss about this referendum topic or referendum thing in many states like India, the referendum means we will discuss as we will understand as a representation of the people. But here in direct democracy system, referendum is important thing for the direct democracy systems. If we discuss about this types of referendum, referendums are of two forms according to Switzerland Confederation provides for this two types of referendum is number one is mandatory or obligatory referendum on all amendments to the constitution, and one more thing is optional or facultative referendum on federal laws or on international treaties. So this referendum system is exactly passed by this Switzerland constitution and also maintaining by them. So direct refers to this concept of referendum is mandatory for their entire direct democracy administration system. So, and also direct democracy in system, the initiative and referendum also important for the members of the general public to purpose which they may petition or specific statutory measures or constitutional reforms to the government, and with other referendums the vote may be binding or simply advisory. So initiatives and referendums, along with recall elections and popular primary elections, are signature reforms of the progressive era. They are written into several state constitutions, particularly in the West nations. It is a form of direct democracy. So, referendum and initiative both are the interrelated in the practice of this direct democracy system. So, these two devices are represent many minority related issues in the society also, because these two devices are important for the representation of minority people's rights and individual freedoms for the their freedom according to uh, modern times, modern constitutions like Switzerland and many countries like United States of America also maintaining this two devices for their administration as part of this direct democracy. Referendum and initiative is the important aspects for the their maintenance. So if we discuss about the plebiscite also another important direct democratic device, which literally means decree of the people. It is a type of popular vote procedure of obtaining the political opinion of the whole of the electorate on issues of serious public importance. However, this is not legally binding on the government, and also it may honor the result of the vote on political and moral grounds. So here the plebiscite means just as public uh, consultation. So in representative democracy, this system is not available, but here in direct democracy, it is the main purpose of political decision making by the people, it seems. So, like many developing nations like Switzerland, they are maintaining this concept, and however, it is determined by a representative authority such as president, prime minister, or parliament of a nation. They decide when and on what subject the people will be asked to vote or give their opinion. So here the people's votes become a means to an end. So and also we have recall system in direct democracy. This is the one of the major important thing for the direct democracy system. Recall means removing of elected representatives from office before the end of their tenure when their performance is unsatisfactory, and also if they are violating the constitution or violating the rules procedures for the purpose of people's wish, they may recall their representative. Like if we adapt this system to the India, we can remove elected representative if they do not work on the basis of people's or public opinion. We may recall him, but the recall system is only few nations like Switzerland or some states in Swiss countries are following some. We called it as cantons. States as called as cantons in Switzerland. So uh, few many nations are maintaining this recall system. So the recall system is in most democracies not following this system, where the direct democracy system is implementing, the recall system is available there. So the recall is the least common of four direct democracy devices. Provision of the recall device at the nominal level is rare. even in countries where direct democracy is widely used to, like Switzerland and some cantons in their country, the recall was introduced in the USA during the colonial era. It was first recorded in the laws of General Court of the Massachusetts Bay Colony in 1631. So, at present, 18 American states provide for the recall of the state officials, while 36 states provide for the recall of local officials. So, uh, the recall system is and also implementing many states and influenced by many states like Japan, Taiwan, Philippines at the local government level. Some other countries like Bolivia, Uganda, Kyrgyzstan, Venezuela, British Columbia, and Canada have recall provisions. So, if we discuss about the merits of direct democracy or advantages of direct democracy, in direct democracy, political education is important merit in implementation of this direct democracy system. So, direct democratic devices are the best means of imparting political education to the masses, to the people. So, as the part of a direct democracy system, they create more politically sophisticated citizens, so they can aware of everything in political scenario by the people, and also effective realization of popular sovereignty will be there for people. So use of initiatives and referendums can help to engage citizens in the direct democratic process, which is often not possible through elections. Through referendum, people can express their views or opinions by vote and gain participation in lawmaking or policy making. So they also ensures direct democracy also ensures legitimacy, because referendums are the tool of people's choice to adopt and legitimate new constitutions and other major institutional reforms. The direct democracy also promotes sense of responsibility. Means referendum and plebiscite give the people opportunity to express their opinion and make the citizens of develop interest and conscious about the law. So there are many advantages are also there. The possible drawback to direct democracy is only successful when the number of people is small, because in large population it becomes difficult to keep a record of all the voters. So if we discuss about the other advantages of direct democracy, it is reduces the undue influence of political parties. Means the use of direct democratic devices minimize the undue of influence of political parties, as the public can express their own views and interests without having rely on politicians. And also it resolves deadlocks, safeguards people's will, reflection of people's needs, and accountability to the people, and minimizes the corruption, because the people centric government will be there in direct democracy system. And the direct democracy approach removes the intermediary. So there is no mediators or there is no third persons in between implementation of such policies made by the executive or legislature in the direct democracy system. So there are two primary forms practiced today, which are called deliberative or participatory democracy. The actions required of the people might involve the creation of laws, the use of sortition, and the passing of executive decisions. So, conducting trials is a necessary component in the form of government, as well as directive democracies are rare in today's world. Towns in Vermont can decide local affairs through this process by the use of town meetings. Several other states in New England allow this process as well. Some cantons in Switzerland follow this structure as well. There are several advantages and disadvantages also, as we discussed earlier. So every vote carries the same weight in a direct democracy. When the government relies on representation for policy creation, then there are pockets of the population where the equity of each vote does not count the same. This issue is especially prevalent in the electoral college of the United States. So during last presidential elections, citizens who voted 3.6 times more influence than voters in California because of the structure of the election. So a direct democracy still operates on a majority vote, but it is up to the individuals to participate in that process. And also, the governments cannot hide information from the people. In a direct democracy involves everyone. That means there are no secrets to worry about, since government control is always at the local level. Without this transparency, there would be no way for the voting process to be accurate. The open lines of communication help everyone know what to do, when to do it, and which outcomes to expect from that work. Even a representative democracy does not have this advantage. There are some weird government secrets out there, like many issues in who are following the representative democracy. And also, there is more accountability in a direct democracy structure. Even though the approval rating for Congress has dipped to just in recent years, the elected officials can their incumbent status to secure another's. So, without the presence of a direct democracy, there is no way to hold people accountable for their actions. Even a recall process is not a guarantee that the people will have the final say in what happens. And also there is one more advantage. People are typically happier when they live in a direct democracy, because the administration operates at the satisfaction of the society. There is usually greater happiness with life and the structures of government when using this type of direct democracy composition. If people are not wholly in consensus with one another, there is an understanding that each individual has their voice represented on every issue. And also, in direct democracy, any officials that work on behalf of the people can be recalled at any time. So this specific issue, then they will serve out their full term unless their behavior is incompetent or illegal. In most government arrangements, under the formation of direct democracy in society, a community can instantly launch a recall on anyone who does not act in the best interests of the everyone in the society. And also, there is more cooperation occurs under the structure of direct democracy. Instead of separating into echo chambers, like direct democracy promotes cooperation and discussion. Everyone can voice their ideas freely because each person has an equitable stake when debating policies or laws or procedures. Since this personal representation receives promotion, there are fewer remonstrances, rebellion, and uncertainty for everyone. Each person is in a position where they can work with their next door neighbor to find outcomes that benefit everyone. This advantage does an excellent job of reducing the influence of special interests or wealth based lobbying in the government structure. And also, the direct democracy is an exceptionally cost efficient form of governing. So, if we take an example of the some of the cantons of Switzerland that still use these principles of direct democracy hold their outside parliament gatherings once annually. So, even though it seems exclusionary, both cantons allow anyone to view the legislative work if they want to do so. It is during this time that leaders are chosen for the exact tenure or exact year. Voters are held on the various concerns brought forward. And also, there is one more advantage about this direct democracy. Each person is responsible for taking actions that improve their quality of life. And also, direct democracy alters the purpose of a vote. If we discuss about some of disadvantages are also there in practice of direct democracy. Number one is the cost of a direct democracy must be taken into consideration, and also it is not suitable for big nations. And also there is the issues that are up for discussion are for local impacts. So sometimes it is also expensive in practice. Many of the gatherings occurred in many modern nations who are following this direct democracy is sometimes it may be expensive to implement these types of direct democracy devices. And also there is still a threat of vote manipulation to consider with a direct democracy. And also each voter must be fully informed of the matters that are up for a vote. So there must be a high level of participation for direct democracy actions to be effective. So one more disadvantage is uh, direct democracies don't have a way to make fast decisions. And also the majority is not obligated to protect the rights of the minority. So sometimes the minority rights are not protected by this who are implementing this type of modern direct democracy system. So most decisions in a direct democracy are based on self interest. So people typically vote for what they think is the best outcome for themselves and their family. There is little consideration offered for those who have different needs. This disadvantage is even prevalent in representative democracies too. Most people will not support an idea that requires a personal sacrifices for the betterment of society. So there are questions of oversight that must be answered in a direct democracy. And also high levels of instability are common in indirect democracy and direct democracy. So a direct democracy offers society the most freedom to choose how everyone can live their life. There are never any problems with elected officials deciding to move in opposition to what community or what the community wants to do. The price of that extra freedom is a slow implementation of policies, procedures, and also which can create issues during times of emergency. In normal time, the advantages and disadvantages of direct democracy are more theoretical, since early Athens is the largest city state to use this option for governing. In Switzerland, the cantons of Glarus and Appenzell Innerrhoden continue to practice this structure as well. It can be useful to let citizens have more power, but it can also cause peoples outside of the majority to never have a say in how they live their life. For India, it is not possible to implement this type of direct democracy because we have a major populated nation, and also we have several most of the political parties are a large number of political parties are there. There is no possible to implement this type of direct democracy devices in modern India. And also we have the one more chapter is about representative democracy. Representative democracy, we will call it as indirect democracy too, because in previous lesson we have discussed about direct democracy. Direct democracy means people are the central point of the democracy system. Here in representative democracy, some another persons represents the public opinion. Means like in our India, we have been electing our people's public representatives to administer our opinions or people's wish. So that's what in many nations, many thousands of third world nations also implementing this representative democracy in, also known as indirect democracy, is a type of democracy founded on the principle of elected persons representing a group of people, in contrast with to direct democracy. Here representative democracy places power in the hands of representatives who are elected by the people. So, if we take an example of this representative democracy, United States and like India, Britain, many other countries are implementing this type of representative democracy. Like Canada, also one of the major example for the implementation of this representative democracy. If we want to know about this, the meaning of this representative democracy is it's a form of government or indirect rule by the majority of the electorate. In this type of democratic system, the citizens of a country vote for government representatives through elections. Like India, we have periodic elections for every 5 years. We are electing our representatives, and also uh, the representatives then gather in legislatures like parliament and assembly, they where they discuss, debate, deliberate upon policy matters. They take policy decisions, make laws, and rule the country on people's behalf. So here elective representatives are the central point of this representative government. So if we discuss about the advantages of representative democracy. This representative democracy offers, when operating as it should, it is highly efficient form of government. People still have a say in how their government operates. It provides through representation of the general public. People still have a voice, and also it simplifies the decision making process. So everyone in indirect democracy, so the form of rule is considered as democratic, as the system of representation establishes a reliable and effective link between the government and the governed. Governed means people. Election of representatives makes them directly responsible to the people. And also, like many modern states are implementing this indirect democracy system or representative democracy system. So it is more accountable form of government, as it has responded to the needs of people. In this system, democracy improves the quality of decision making, as it is based on consultation and discussion. Democracy here provides a method to deal with differences and conflicts as differences as bound to occur. If we discuss about modern states like India implementing this in the making of the accountable administration, here it explains about to helps in maintaining law and order. Here, indirect democracy helps citizens to choose their leaders to run the government. Uh, like India, many nations implementing this representative or indirect democracy. One of the major characteristics are here in indirect democracy also, there is universal participation and also political equality also implementing there, political competition and choice also available, political accountability also available. Majority rule is going on in this type of representative democracy. And also civil liberties or equality opportunities are protected and guaranteed by the governments. So rule of law and equal before law sets found in the same folder. So uh, we will call it as republic government too, because it is adopted self rule or elective government. So there is a consciousness of people's opinion also there on behalf of parliament or assembly. The peoples or public representatives are the responsible for the public opinions. So in representative democracies, whether there are presidential form of government or whether parliamentary form of government is there or unitary or federal government are there, they must implement this type of characteristics in their implementation of representative government, because the representative democracy places power in the hands of representatives who are elected by the people. So in many nations like United Nations and India are the best example for the this type of implementation of representative democracy. So we have seen many modern democracies after getting implementation, getting independence from their colonial rulers, they adopted several constitutions, and also they are maintaining that constitution for the purpose of protection of individual liberties and personal freedom of the people. That's what every modern nation implementing those direct or indirect democracy system. So here we have direct to representative, indirect democracy or representative democracy is having several principles also there, like popular sovereignty is one of the major principle in representative democracy. It means the first and foremost principle of the representative democracy is popular sovereignty. So in this form of democracy, there is distinction between the ultimate sovereign and immediate sovereign. The electorate, that is entire adult population of the country who possess voting rights, holds the ultimate power because they hold the power to vote for representative. So if we take an example of Constitution of India, people is the major issue or major concern for the making of Constitution of India. So people's participation is also important for this purpose of implementation of representative democracy. So people have ultimate authority to elect their representatives to perform their opinion. So they represent public opinion and they can remove at any time. Means in several periodic elections they may choose alternatives if they do not perform as well as their wish. So here when operating here this type of representative democracy also, it is highly efficient form of government. People still have say how their government operates, and also they have their voice to represent their wish or their needs. So the people cannot be expected to have the time or interest to make important and regular decisions. Representatives can educate the people on several political issues. So this is the one of the important democracy system to implement or to adopt this type of participation of the people to make the laws meaningful. So here in representative democracy, the transparency will be there in the administration, and also the political equality and the political liberty of the people also protected by the modern constitutions, and also the collective responsibility system will be there in the practice of these representative governments. So if we discuss about elements of representative democracy, there are the major things are there, like the electorate is the one of the important aspect in this concept, and political parties also important for the democracy implementation, because the political parties are the ultimate backbone of democracy, because political parties may influence people to change or to adapt their opinion, and also they provide major political dynamic for the working of formal institutions of the systems. So if we discuss about Indian administration system or Indian political system, there are large number of political parties are there in central government and in central level and both regional levels. There are large number of political parties are there, and they are also influencing the democracy system for the sake of people's wish. And also in this practice of representative democracy, there is definitely there will be parliament or legislative assemblies also there. The executive is the important government organ for the responsible for implementing the decisions of the their population. They can implement the public policies made by the above legislature, like parliament or legislative assemblies are established for the purpose of law making or policy making. The executive is established for the purpose of implementation of those laws. So a constitution also important for the representative democracy. If there is no constitution, the governments may uh, decide their own views, and also there need a independent judiciary system for the implementation of this representative democracy. If there is no independent judiciary system, the governments can make laws as per their own wishes. They don't represent public opinion. They may violate constitutional rules, or they may forget public opinion or public needs. So if we discuss about the major characteristics of this representative democracy or indirect democracy, here we have representative institutions also there, like if we take an example of India, we have parliament at central level, and we have legislative assembly at state level, and there is periodic elections. All the modern democracies have indirect or this type of representative governments which are elected by the people for certain time period, tenure. So that's what elections have important for this implementation of representative democracy. In India, we have periodic elections for every 5 years. We are electing our new electorates in the form of state governments and central government. And also in this practice of representative democracy, popular support will be there by the people for the implementation of representative government. And also there is a competition for political power, because like India, many political parties are established to for the purpose of to gain power in the government, to frame or to become in the part of the government. They are contesting in every periodic elections. So many parties are maintaining the ultimate goal is to be part of government. So here the supremacy of the constitution also important characteristic of this representative democracy, and right to dissent and public accountability is one of the important characteristics of the representative democracy. If we discuss about the merits of representative democracy, it is one of the major practicable thing in modern democracies. Many nations are implementing this type of representative democracy because many states are having large number of population, so they are unable to implement the direct democracy system. That's what they choose to implement this type of representative democracy. It is major practicable administration system for the in many democratic nations, as it enables large populations to participate in the governmental process rather indirectly. So it is also based on equality and rights. All the citizens possess equal political and civil rights in this type of representative democracy. And also it is open and accountable government will be available in this practice of representative democracy. And also the representative governments has educative value as it provides opportunities for the people to participate in government activities, due to which people constantly learn about civic rights, duties, and privileges. Here, political parties are the important for the educate the people to get their political rights and the stakes in government. So, political parties stimulate the interest of public on different issues or problems such as housing, living standards, education, foreign relations, budget, other administrative issues. So here also there is a training in self-government. Democracy provides the most effective training to its citizens by encouraging self-government system. So and also this is this practice of representative government, there is a stable government and people's consent through majority decision also there. It is called it as participatory democracy, means participation of the people provides an occasion of understand the political process and institutions and ensure greater involvement of the people. The people get the opportunity of contributing to deliberations and discussions through their chosen leaders. Demerits of representative democracy, there are disadvantages of this representative democracy. So and also if we discuss about these disadvantages of representative democracy, representatives may distort people's demands to suit their political preferences. Representatives may not make themselves accountable enough between elections and can only be removed by the elections. So we will call it as representative democracy, as indirect democracy or republic system of government. So this is also expensive to implement or to operate, and also it is best choice for the smaller states. So I am concluding the session. Is there any doubts
సార్
you
ఇంపార్టెంట్
may ask?
చెప్తున్నారు కదా సార్. సార్ ఇంపార్టెంట్ క్వశ్చన్ చెప్తా
అయితే
అన్నారు.
ప్రీవియస్ పేపర్ ఒకటి ఫార్వర్డ్ చేశాను కదా.
పీడిఎఫ్ పెట్టండి సార్.
సరే నేను ఆల్రెడీ కొందరికి పంపించాను.
గ్రూప్ లో పెట్టండి సార్.
నేను గ్రూప్ లో లేను కదా.
మరి అందరికి ఎలా వస్తాయి సార్?
సరే నేను నెంబర్ దానిలో చాట్ లో డ్రాప్ చేస్తున్నా, మీరు మెసేజ్ చేయండి, నేను ఫార్వర్డ్ చేస్తా.
ఓకే సార్. Okay sir, thank you.
Okay, thank you for your participation and all the best for your exams. Today is
sir,
our last
exams
class,
eppudu
right?
untayi sir?
Thank you sir.
You have to visit our website.
Okay sir.
Okay,
thank you
for all.
Thank you
sir.
Thank you sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you sir.